What is up, my ninja? Shinobi here, and today I have a speed farm video for you guys. This is for the Demon Hunter in Season 5, Patch 2.4. It's a build that I've been using for quite a while now in my live streams. I've been power leveling tons of people. So far, I think I've power leveled anywhere from 80 to 100 people in Season 5. Been doing a lot of stuff just trying to help out the community, get some gear for people, run Stolt and Cool for people to get them, their sets right off the bat so they can really get a good leg up on the season and help everybody out. But on top of that, I've been using this build for a lot more than just power leveling people because, the max that you can power level people on is T6, but this build can far past that. As you can see in the footage in the background, I'm doing Torment 10 very quickly, not even picking up any progression orbs whatsoever, and I do this one in like 3 minutes, and I get the achievement thing for the seasonal journey, and it wasn't even that good of a map. I mean, the potential for the build like this is quite good. Now we're going to talk more about that build, but a real quick announcement for you guys. Today is the 3-year stream anniversary for my Twitch.tv stream. 3 years ago today, very first time I streamed on Twitch TV. And we're going to be doing a little celebration stream. I'm going to be playing with the viewers. I'm going to be gearing up my alt wizard. I'm going to be talking with them over voice communication, talking with the viewers. I'm going to be drinking some champagne as a celebration. So if you've never seen me drunk before, well, that'll be a thing. So come on over, Twitch TV/Shinobi Live, link in the description below. But let's talk a little bit more about this build, and I'm going to show you everything behind it. Now, the original intent of this build is I wanted something that was fast so I could, power level people quickly, but then I started using it more and saying, wow, I could actually do higher difficulties with this character, and I can farm a bunch of blood shards and keystones and DBs, and I mean, you never can get enough keystones and DBs and enough gear in general in the season. So, I use this for a lot of different reasons, and I think that if you're playing a Demon Hunter in Season 5 and you want to check this out, I think you'll definitely really like the build. On top of that, even if you're farming for like alt characters like I'm doing with Wizard, you can build up a bunch of blood shards, and you can change the build a little bit so you don't really have, quite as much movement, but you do have way more damage, so you can kind of alter it and make it even a tier 60 speed farm, which I've been doing quite a lot on my stream. I do tier 60, 62 to 65 solo in like 3 to 4 minutes. So you really have a lot of potential with a set like this and with the gear like this, and I think it's probably my favorite set for doing this kind of stuff. Now there are other builds you can do out there, like the Legacy and Nightmare Strafe build, but that's very, very gear dependent, as you do need a lot of ancient legendaries. So I feel like this build will be something that'll be really great for you guys to check out in Season 5. So let's go ahead and get into the build and all the information and stuff like that, and and then after we do that, I'll be going live on Twitch TV, so you guys can head over. If you're seeing this video, I'm probably live right now. Alright guys, so here we are in town. Let's go ahead and run through all the different gear and skills and everything like that you need. Now all my materials right now are on my wizard. Like I said, I'm going to be gearing up a wizard for fun, an alt character in the season, so I got all that stuff over there. But you can see I have quite a few Rift Keystones right now, and I've gotten these very easily just by power leveling people and helping people out in the community, but I'm collecting these as I go as well, and I've spent a lot of Rift Keystones as well, so I've leveled up a lot of legendary gems and things of that sort. So but let's go ahead and show you all the stuff here. So this is obviously going to be the multi-shot set, as you kind of noticed already. You're going to be utilizing that multi-shot. The Unhallowed Essence set is very awesome for something like this. So let's move into the rings here. We've got Focus and Restraint. They're going to be quite good for you because it's going to allow you to boost up your damage a bunch and allow you to, you're pretty much, as you saw from the video clip, you're going to be moving around a lot and you're just going to be shooting things like crazy like this. And if you do encounter an elite, all you have to do is just, left click and then it's your damage boost, and then, get them down real quick. So very easy when it comes to that. Focus and Restraint, I feel like is really strong for this because you you are moving around a lot and you want to get some, you know, damage on the go. So focus and restraint is going to be the way to go there. So obviously you're going to want a Hellfire Amulet. Now this is going fire here, so the main stats you want on a Hellfire Amulet would be your fire, crit chance, crit damage, and socket. This happens to be quite a good Hellfire Amulet, except for the steady aim. The steady aim is not really that great for pushing greater rifts, so this isn't really more of a pushing amulet, but this is more of a amulet that's good for speed farm, for instance. So that's exactly why I use it for this. So it's definitely quite good. Now the bracers themselves, you can do a couple different things with the bracers. Maybe you can go with Rapid Clarity if you need a little bit more survivability, but you're not going to be using your left click that often. You don't really want to, because you want to be moving efficiently throughout the rifts that you're doing, whether you're power leveling people or you're farming or whatever. You just want to move through quickly, and you don't really need the extra defense when you're doing things like Torment 10 or Torment 6 if you're power leveling people. So, you know, you don't really need that extra defense, but it is an option. I like to go with the Nemesis bracers. You can also go with something like Reaper's Wraps to give you a little bit resource back, and that's something you could really do. That'd be really great to do maybe at the beginning of the season while you're kind of fine-tuning the stats on your gear and optimizing and things like that. That's definitely an option, but I think Nemesis bracers is great because they're going to be spawning more elites, which means you're going to be getting through quicker, getting more DBs, things like that. So definitely help you out there. So moving on, the belt Witching Hour is a very strong belt that you can have because it's going to be a big damage boost. It's going to be attack speed, going to be crit damage, and this is ancient, which is quite nice. You don't really have to have this, just any belt that's going to give you some kind of help. There are quite a few out there that'll help you out, but you know, Witching Hour is obviously one that would be very strong for something like this to help you out. Now the offhand here using Dead Man's Legacy, because you want to get that multi-shot damage, because remember it's all about the multi-shot, and plus you get the, you know, double attacks with the multi-shot with the special property there, making sure that you try to get as much max discipline as possible. So speaking of that, I have my Yang's recurve right here, and I had to re-roll for max discipline because this one actually didn't even come with any on it, unfortunately. So I do need a better Yang's recurve, but this is, you know, fine right here. You see you have your percent damage, you have your dexterity. Even instead of vitality, you could have like cooldown reduction or resource cost reduction. You can actually double that up on this item, which is one thing you can do. But, you know, the max discipline is very important, obviously. This is going to be a very important item for you. You don't have to have an ancient one, especially if you're just power leveling people or doing like T8, T9, T10. You don't have to have an ancient one. I was doing Greater Rift 60s with, you know, a similar build to this using the same set, and I didn't even have an ancient Yang's recurve. It's not super important, but it's just going to make it more efficient for you. So obviously you want to try to get that with upgrading the rares in the Kanai's Cube, as I've talked about in previous videos before. Now, that's pretty much all the gear there. Now, the gems, you want to go with something like Zay's Stone of Vengeance because monsters are going to be far away from you, so you're going to do that big added damage there. Using things like Bane of the Trap, so if you do get kind of close to things, you're going to get some added damage there as well. You can maybe switch that out for like Boon of the Hoarder or something else that's going to give you a little bit more help. It's up to you. Using Bane of the Powerful is going to be great because you're going to be fighting a lot of elites. You're going to kill them quickly, especially if you're going for DBs. You're going to be focusing on those elites, and this is something that's going to give you a buff duration for pretty much the entire rift because you're just going to be going through very quickly and killing elites very regularly. Obviously using the dexterity gems here and going with the cooldown reduction on here. Now, cooldown reduction is kind of important. It's not super duper stressed that you need to have a lot of cooldown reduction for this in particular, because you can see that I have around 31% right now, which is an okay amount to have. You know, I get the gem in there and you get the cooldown over here and I got the cooldown in here. Those are some places you can get it. Even getting on the weapon, like I said before, is good to do. You might be able to even get it like in one of your focus and restraints, or maybe instead of the vitality on here, getting some cooldown reduction. So there's some options for you to get cooldown reduction. But if you're having a hard time getting some cooldown reduction and you want to be able to do this build a lot quicker, then you can use something like I use here, Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac. I use this for multiple reasons, because not only am I going to have my Vengeance up all the time, I'm going to have my Wolf Companion up pretty much all the time. I'm going to be able to preparation whenever I need to, which is important because you want to get that Discipline Black back, which is going to help you get your vaults more often as well. You want to be able to go through quickly and pretty much spam vault throughout the entire rift, which you can do with this, and just spamming those multi-shots as well, and just using your cooldowns as you need them as you go. So Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac is going to be a great way to help you with that. You don't need anything like Convention of Elements if you are going to do maybe like a higher tier, maybe conventional elements will be good, but you do need to have higher cooldown in order to make something like that work. Now, using the armor slot here, Cinder Coat, because it's going to reduce the resource cost of fire skills by 30%, and this is a fire skill multi-shot, so you can see it's not really even using that much here, and I don't even have, you know, Vengeance going right now, which is going to allow me to pretty much just hold this down, essentially. But yeah, so it's not bad. It's not bad at all. But yeah, but you're not going to be spamming it quite that much unless you're, you know, killing the Rift Guardian, which is going to die very quickly anyways. Then using Dawn here, reduce the cooldown of Vengeance by 65%, so you can just pretty much have that Hatred regen going all the time. If you do need more survivability, you can use, instead of the Cinder Coat, obviously you can use something like the Visage of Goons. It's going to be very nice for you. You know, maybe even something like Leoric's Crown could be useful, or maybe Hexing Pants if you don't have the Cinder Coat, but you know, that's what I suggest to go with, is a Cinder Coat there, and that'll be very helpful to you. So let's go ahead and take a look at everything else, all the other information. So let's take a look at the spec here. You can go ahead and do a little screenshot real quick. Just go ahead and hit print screen, and so that way you can just kind of pop it up and just kind of copy everything that I do here. So using Evasive Fire with Focus, you don't really have to worry too much, because this is going to give you 7 Hatred. You can go maybe even Bola with the 7 Hatred one. It's not you're barely going to be left clicking throughout the entire thing. You know, the more cooldown you have, the more, you know, killing that you're doing, the more health globes you're picking up, things like that, the less you're going to need this. So it doesn't really matter that much. You're just using it to literally proc your Focus and Restraint every once in a while if you need it, you know. And then multi-shot arsenal, because you're going to get those rocket damage there, which is great, and, you know, it's fire is the great one to go with, and so we're definitely going fire there. Moving on, we got Vault, Trail of Cinders, because remember, your fire skills are going to cost less, so obviously you want to go with Trail of Cinders. That way you can pretty much, you know, it doesn't really cost that much, and I do have 81 Discipline right now, which is also taking a big part of your, you know, that 6-piece there. Your Generator's Multi-Shot Vengeance, deal 20% increased damage for every point of Discipline that you have, so it's a big damage increase there. Remember, that's additive, that's not multiplicative, so, you know, there is somewhat of a diminishing return on your discipline for your damage there. So if you can get some other thing, that's why Focus and Restraint's good, because it's multiplicative. It's going to give you a big damage increase. It's going to increase your overall damage instead of a certain section of damage, and that's essentially what I'm talking about there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Try to get your max discipline up, though. It is important. You're going to get extra damage, and, you know, that's all you care about, really. You don't really care too much about survivability. So, but yeah. And then moving on, preparation here. This is going to increase your maximum discipline by 20, which is great, and you're going to be able to restore discipline, which is great. So you're going to be able to constantly keep vaulting. You know, I can pretty much vault all day as I'm going here, and then every once in a while, because remember, you're killing stuff, so you're sitting around the Zodiac's going to be bringing this cooldown back, and then you just pop that, and then boom, it's gone, and then as you keep going, you're killing stuff, and then boop, you could pop your preparation again. You pretty much can keep going forever with this, especially if you're picking up health globes along the way, whether you're going with Reaper's Wraps or something like Blood Vengeance or whatever. Now, Companion, Wolf Companion. Now, if you do need a little bit extra health from the resource, you can go with the Bat Companion. That's going to help you out. It's going to be some Hatred per second, and it's also going to, you know, give you an activation on that. But Wolf Companion is going to give you that extra burst, especially if you're doing something like Torment 10 or higher for speed farms. Wolf Companion is pretty much the way to go. So, but yeah. Then we have Vengeance with Seath. Like I said, you're going to get the Hatred regen. You're going to get that damage increase as well from Vengeance, and you get to shoot the rockets out and do a bunch of stuff, getting a bunch of damage. Now, Ambush here, because you're going to be pretty much one-shotting trash mobs and two-shotting elites pretty much, so depending on the difficulty that you're doing. So Ambush is going to be huge for you. Blood Vengeance is going to allow you to, you pretty much want to one-shot an elite pack, jump into them, grab the DBs, the items, you pick up the health globes there, you get all your resources, back it up, and then you keep going. So imagine if I were to be killing this right here, I just shoot it and jump right into it, pick up the stuff, go, boom, shoot the next guy, keep going. That's kind of the gameplay behind it, because getting those health globes is going to be great for your resources to allow you to keep going very efficiently, but you don't need it too much, though. You don't have to focus too much on that. Now, Ballistics here, obviously getting the rocket damage increase, it's going to be very helpful to you. Tactical Advantage is going to give you some movement speed there, which is nice. You don't absolutely have to have that. If you're having a little bit of trouble, maybe awareness will help you out a little bit. Maybe you're dying or something like that. Remember, I do have steady aim on my amulet, so if you don't have the Hellfire amulet yet, maybe go with steady aim instead of that. You're not going to be moving quite as fast, but you know, you get to get that damage output, which is the most important thing. The movement speed is important, but the mobility is important, but you know, damage is also important. You need to be able to kill the stuff efficiently, right? So that's pretty much all of that stuff right there, guys. Let's go ahead and talk about the Templar. It don't really matter for the gear that he has. Having something like Ezra Johan's nice because he can pull things in. I still need to work on his gear a bunch, but this is the main thing you want, is just the Inspire here. You can't really see it because my webcam's in the way, but it's just going to give you 1 hatred per second when you have it on him. You don't really need to heal, so it's nice to have the Templar to come around with you, give you a little bit of resources back so you can keep pew-pew and everything. Now moving on to the Paragons here. I gotta actually go ahead and put some in here. So I got the Paragon, so you just want to get your movement speed up, you know, as you need it, right? Get the dexterity, that's very important. And then crit damage, crit chance, cooldown reduction are going to be your priorities here. Attack speed is a priority if you can get it, but you know, make sure that you're at a 10-to-1 ratio for your crit chance, crit damage, or try to get in that area. So I have a little bit too much crit chance right now, so I might actually benefit a little bit more if I were to put more in attack speed and a little bit into crit. Just kind of base it off the gear that you have, but cooldown, like I said, is very important. So, but in the damage is also very important. Now, life, armor, resist all, the main things you want. You don't really care too much about life regen. The first thing I would go with would be resist all. Then after that, probably life, and then armor after that. Because remember, you're going to get armor with having dexterity now. That's how it's been for quite a while now. It's not like dodge back in the day. So you know, there is diminishing returns on the armor increase, so you know, I'd say resist, life, and then armor right after that. But it also does depend on the gear that you have at the time. Now, obviously, you're going to get the reduced resource cost here. This is very important. That's the very first thing you want, and then area damage after that, and then life on hit, which you don't really need that much to begin with. You can go with gold fine if that's something you need, but gold is pretty easy to get in the game. But that's pretty much it, guys. That's the whole build and everything. If you have any more questions, put them down in the comments section below, and that's pretty much all you have to do there. You can speed farm quickly, you can farm a bunch of those keystones, get a bunch of those DBs, maybe power level some people while you're doing that too. You can play on T6. I would literally play on T6, one-shot all the monsters, and just have people sit in the beginning of the Rift, get free XP, leveling up characters, alt characters, and I'm going through and I'm killing crap quickly, and I'm getting keys, and I'm getting DBs and things like that. You know, it's a helpful way to help other people out. It's a little thing we started up on the stream called Carry It Forward, so essentially you're going to be, you know, and then they can do that as well for other people in their community. So check that out, guys, and yeah, check out the live stream. We'll see you guys over there, twitch.tv/Shinobi Live. Anyways, that is it, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video or on my live stream, but until then, my name is Shinobi, and thanks for watching.